So today we're going to look at building some planter beds or planter shelves out of some old chairs. My wife acquired these chairs at some point and wanted to do something with them, but they've just been sitting here collecting dust. So what I want to do is repurpose them for something useful. So we've got a lot of bottoms here. We've got the backs here, and then the frames. We've got some other ones here. They're a little different, but possibly we can use those as well, doing the same type of thing. We're going to see which ones work best for what we want to do. Now we're going to go into the greenhouse. I'm going to go into the greenhouse here and we'll see where we're going to put them. So where these plants are now, we plan on having shelves there that we can sit plants on top of and create shaded areas for microclimates underneath for lettuces and herbs and things that don't need direct sun. So we're planning a shelf here and then a shelf just on the side of these humidity domes. Those will be relocated. That's where we have our starts at the moment. All right, so we need to measure. So we don't want to take up too much space, so we still have enough room to walk around it. Currently that thing is, this space is right about 57 inches or 1450 millimeters, 145 centimeters. We might could go out a little bit further, probably out about 6 feet, which would be right around 1800 millimeters, and that would still leave us somewhere around 1400 millimeters of walking space and the ability to put some permanent shelves and some type of grow area on this back wall. It's just been kind of unused for the most part, a catch-all room while we're renovating, but now we've decided to make it more useful. So we've got about 6 feet to work with in the greenhouse. And we've got two stacks here, this one and this one. Those are just about 7 feet. So that means we could cut off a little bit and utilize the entire board. So I've placed the lumber on top of the chairs just to get a feel for the size of how large it's going to be. So I think we've got grow trays, so we want something at least that wide, possibly wider, so that we can have them doubled up and have them side by side. So I think what I want to do is extend the boards to the outer edges of these chairs and make it to where I can have two grow trays sitting side by side. Let's get started cutting. So I think we got plenty of lumber here to make one good shelf. And then we'll see if we need to use any of the longer stuff outside for another one. So I'm going to get my saw station set up and we'll start cutting. So we've got the saw set to where we have a natural stop here, so I can make sure everything is the same length. And we are going to cut it to 70 inches. See that we're right on 70. And so I'm going to cut off just one end of the board, the end that is exposed. I want it to be more natural looking so that it doesn't look freshly cut against this old wood. So I'm just going to cut off the worst ends of these boards. If there's any damages or cracks or splits, that's what I'll cut off. And we'll get started cutting here. So I've laid all the boards out side by side, and we have 57 inches with boards tightly put together. That comes up to 3 shelves, so we can do at least one set of shelves and have some boards left over. Now if we do some spacing in there, say a ½ inch or an inch between the boards, then we can possibly get 4 complete shelves with just cutting a couple of the really long boards. So we've got a few boards here that are 8 feet or just under 8 feet that we're going to use. We'll cut those up and then use the scraps for the bracing. I've already got my saw set up here for a clamp set up as my stop. We're going to make the shelves 21 inches. So that gives us about 3 inches of kind of play there for moving stuff around and not being so tight, and giving us a little bit of space between the braces too. So now we've got all our materials inside what will be a living room at some point. So we're going to get started on this set. Since it's already been, all the paint's been ground off and it looks kind of the way we want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and start bolting this one together and then see how it looks before I do any more work to these. So we're going to be using these screws for bolting these together. So they'll fit in there nice and tight. No need for washers. And it should come through the wood just enough to not penetrate the other side. We'll have 2 screws in each side. So we took the boards and cut them at an angle here because the backs of the chairs are just a little bit at an angle, about 12, 13 degrees, something like that. So we cut these off so that when they bolt up here, they're going to be nice and flat across the top section here. So now we just have to space them out correctly and we'll screw them in. Now we've got both our upper braces put in place. So now I'm going to set up the upper boards, just kind of see how they look spaced out. All right. So there is the completed product. Now we're going to take it into the sunroom and set it up. Well, that worked out pretty good. Just below the shelf line there. We still need to remove some of this linoleum, so I'm not going to put any plants on it just yet. So there we have it, folks. Set up, ready for trays. That looks pretty good, and made use of some free materials. Thanks for watching.